Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'll be telling you guys about why I chose Duke University over other universities such as Cornell, UC Berkeley, Georgetown, UCLA, UCSD, etc. And yeah, so let's get started. So first of all, I'm just kind of gonna introduce Duke to you guys a little bit. So Duke is a private college and it is located in North Carolina in Durham. And its student body is around 6,692, so almost 7,000. And the setting is suburban. And I really like that about Duke because where I'm from, the area is also suburban. So I didn't want to go into like a big city. I don't know, I have like big city phobia. I don't know if that's a thing, but like if I go to places like New York City or like LA, not as much SF because I feel like I'm more used to it, but like, I don't know, I feel kind of scared and just, I don't really feel comfortable. So I really didn't want to go to school in somewhere that was really urban. One thing that I also really liked about Duke is it has the same latitude as where I live. So if you draw a line from like here, this is California, this is North Carolina, it's gonna be like here. So the same latitude means kind of like similar temperature wise. Definitely there's no like extreme temperatures and I don't have to buy like a whole new wardrobe just for winter. So I'm really excited about that. And I think as you guys all know, Duke is definitely like one of those elite schools. It's really up there. This year the admission rate was an all-time low, I think, of 5.7%. So yeah, that's definitely really low. And something to note is definitely the basketball team is huge there because the Duke's basketball team is really good and they have so many players that are in the NBA right now. I'm actually not a huge basketball fan, but I am really into like school spirit, so definitely need to do some studying up. I had like different stages when I was thinking about colleges. So first I had that like private versus public kind of thought. So like the publics I was considering were UCLA, UC Berkeley, UCSD. And then the privates, were Duke, Georgetown, and Cornell. So I think right from the get-go, I already wanted to go to a private over a public just because of student body size. Like at privates, I feel like there's so much more focus on the individual and a lot more research opportunities available to people. Whereas at publics, you can kind of get like lost in the sea of people because there's just so many people. And yeah, I feel like I didn't really like the public feel. I think private school is more, I guess, an individualized education, which was what I was looking for. I really liked that like chill, hippie, SD vibe, so I would have really liked to go there. And then Berkeley is super close to where I live. It's only like around an hour away, so it would have been really convenient to like come home on the weekends and just be really close to my parents. So that was definitely an appeal for me as well. And for UCLA, it was just a really lively campus, and I know like that's a super popular school and everyone loves it there. People really enjoy their time there. So there's really good like student experiences there. But for LA, it kind of had that like big city vibe for me, which was something I didn't really like. So I wasn't sure if I wanted to go there. But those were like my takes on the UCs basically. And then when I was comparing Duke to like Georgetown and Cornell in like the next step of my thinking, for Georgetown, the things I really liked about it was that it's close to Washington, D.C., and I applied for healthcare management and policy, so there would have been a lot of really good job opportunities there if I had gone to school there and stayed in the area, like working in the government and a lot of internships, etc. So that's something that was a big appeal for me. And also I really liked the school I visited before, and the people there were really, really friendly. Everyone was so charismatic. That was really cool. And people were really eloquent. That was something I noticed as well. So I think I kind of wanted to go there just to improve myself almost. But some drawbacks were, so since like the school I go to is, or even the area I live in like Silicon Valley and like Bay Area, it's so Asian concentrated, I guess. It's not like other places in the US. So I feel like it would have been a high-key culture shock if I went from like a place where there's so many Asians to a place where like there's like no Asians. So I think Georgetown could have been a little bit scary for me. And also at Georgetown, everyone is very politically inclined and very politically active. and I wasn't really sure if that was my cup of tea. That was kind of my feel about Georgetown. That's why I kind of like put it a little bit below Cornell and Duke. So then at the end, the last stage, I was like, okay, Duke or Cornell, you know? And I think these are both really, really great schools. I really like both of them. For the campus, I feel like they kind of gave me a similar feel. Like, they're both pretty lush. They're very beautiful, and they also have that really like widespread feel that like some other schools, like Columbia in specific, they have like a tiny little campus, and it's very intermixed in the city, or like NYU. Like those, I don't really like those campuses. Or even like for me, when I visit like Harvard and Yale, honestly, I could not tell the difference between the two. Something that I really like about Cornell, and this might be controversial, it's just the fact that they're so secluded. Like people say like Corn L or like they say it's just like cornfields, but I really think that's kind of majestical almost. Campus almost becomes a city of its own because there isn't that support system around the college like at some other universities. But for Duke, I definitely fell in love with like the Gothic architecture and the greenery. Duke is so green. Everywhere is just green. I really like that. It kind of made me feel like I was in another world almost, like transported, because there really isn't like that kind of like lush greenery in where I live on the West Coast, because we live in California and there's like a drought 24/7. Oh, something that I also had a big take on was student body size. So for Cornell, it's around like 14,000-ish, and then for Duke, it's like 6,500. So as you can see, like Duke is almost half the size of Cornell. So for me personally, I am interested in biomedical research. I do want to do biomedical engineering at Duke, and I also want to get like a minor in econ or finance, and then maybe do like a market and management concentration. So as you can see, I'm kind of interested in that like business, and then also in that science realm. And I think Duke is like a really good place to find like in between, because the college is so interdisciplinary. Duke's biomedical engineering program is like really good. It's like top, like I don't know, one of like the top in like the nation. So that was a big factor to consider for me. Another thing going off of that would be like, I guess, where I see myself in like 10 years. So for Duke, they're located in this area called Research Triangle Park. And actually like my family friends live there, and that place really reminds me of Silicon Valley. It's like a mini Silicon Valley. There's a lot of Asians there, and they do a lot of biomedical research there. It's almost like a little like biomed / like tech hotspot. And it's called Research Triangle Park because it's basically made of like these 3 cities. People always tell you that where you go to school is really important, because let's say you go to like the East Coast, but then you decide to come back to the West Coast. A lot of your connections are going to be still in the East Coast. So obviously you want to go to school somewhere where you may end up living. And for Cornell, you know, I'm not going to live in Ithaca. It's like rural. There's like no one there. I had to stay in like this really far Airbnb even when I visited. So, oh, last thing. This was like the real tipping point. The student body like environment. Something that I found super fascinating at Duke is, even though it's such a competitive school, everyone there is like super supportive, and that's not the student body that you'll find at like most top schools. Like especially the Ivies, most of them are very cutthroat. This is also something that my brother told me a lot, but like there really isn't that kind of like community feel at a lot of Ivies because of the tough academics. At Duke, even though it has that like same academic standard, something that's really special is everyone's super supportive of each other, and people are very spirited. They're so big on school spirit, and I think that's really amazing. I've heard a lot of horror stories about Cornell. Like people are very stressed there. That's definitely something I've heard a lot, and surprisingly, a lot of people don't really enjoy their experiences at Cornell. Something I guess my parents considered more, but like transportation, it's very difficult to get to Cornell from where I live. Like first you have to drive to like the SFO airport, and then you have to take a flight, and then that flight is not even direct flight. You have to like transfer or something, and then let's say you get to like the nearest airport. From the nearest airport to Cornell, you have to like drive another few hours. So definitely not like the most convenient, but for Duke, there's like a straight flight from SFO to Duke, and then the airport is like 20 minutes drive from the school, so way more convenient. And then lastly, I'm just gonna kind of talk about price. I think like everyone's in like different circumstances, but for me, like price is never something that I had to worry about that much, just because I'm very fortunate to be in a family where we don't have, I guess, financially binding circumstances that would obstruct me from attending college. So I'm really grateful for that. But I think the two are pretty comparable in prices between Duke and Cornell. Like Cornell does give better financial aid than Duke. Like I don't think Duke is that good with giving financial aid. Even like some classmates that I've talked to in my class of 2023, they didn't receive like the packages that they were hoping for, and that could deter you, I guess, from going to Duke. If that's something you're considering, then definitely keep that in mind. But at the same time, you should apply to as many colleges as you want still, without, I guess, having that as a barrier, just because you don't know what type of package you'll get until the actual decision comes out. But yeah, I guess that's kind of a little bit about why I chose Duke. The top reasons were just the environment, like of the student body, the campus environment, the class size, the opportunities, and like the city surrounding it. I think Duke is somewhere that kind of reminds me of home, which is what I really like, and also has that contrast from where I live with its scenery, and it has really awesome opportunities. So yeah. Oh, awesome. By the way, from now onwards, I'll be uploading 2 new videos every week. So one on Sunday and then another one on Wednesday. So keep your eyes peeled out for those. And I think usually I'll be uploading around 6 or 7 p.m. Pacific time in the evening. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. Thank you. Oh my god, it's so pretty. This big thing. This is why I'm going to do